One of the reasons why I love fitness and challenges so much is because of the lessons that are learned throughout the process. There's nothing else quite like it. Entrepreneurship would be something very similar that brings things out of us that need to be exposed. Fitness is like that. It'll expose you. When you're challenged in ways that you haven't been challenged before, it exposes weak areas of your life. It also exposes strong areas of your life. And it gives you opportunity. Life gives you this opportunity to learn from that, to recognize the lesson, and to choose growth and development from those. That's why it's so special. That's why I'm so addicted to this lifestyle, because of the continual development that can't be cloned in any other way. You can listen to podcasts all day, every day, and never apply a bit of the information and actually develop into the higher self that you're desiring to be. If you're continually watching videos and listening to podcasts and reading books, but you're not finding yourself actually improving and drawing closer to the dreams you have in your life, it's because there's a missing piece of action taking, of you actually taking a step forward in order to see the growth. There has to be failure involved. There has to be effort involved in all aspects of the journey. That's the beauty of life. And I want to share a story specifically on this today that really tells of special moments. And that's how it goes, is oftentimes on a day where you don't feel like working out and you step into the gym, there's a lesson to be learned in that if you're able to be consciously awake enough to start feeling that message. If you can actually connect in that during, through, and after the training, that oftentimes there's something to be learned. And with my whole journey of training, I mean, I'm 37 right now, and I've been training since 6th, 7th grade, where that's the first time I really stepped into a weight room and trained specifically for sport. And man, I tell you what, I was hooked on that. I remember stepping into this tiny little weight room that our school had, coming from a tiny town of 500 people. And it was like a 10 by 12 room that had an old Universal in it. And you would just like start on one and just do the couple exercises in a circle. And it had a wind bike in the corner. Like awful. It wasn't until years later that the school actually had a little bit better of a weight room and then improved again. And it was so raw and real that I knew that's just like was going to be part of me. And so, I mean, I have experienced so much of different styles of training and high level training and training with NBA players and seeing the best of the best train and eat. And I've been a part of that for so much of my life, but there's always new challenges that come along the way. There's always something new to try if you're willing to step into the challenge. And several years ago, I felt this pull to go run. And I played college basketball, I ran college track, but I was a sprinter in college. I did not run anything over 400 meters, and I would prefer to do nothing over 100 or 200 meters. And so, but I felt this weird pull to go run on trails. I did not want to run down the road, but I wanted to run on the trail. And I wanted to put in miles. And I remember starting and being like, dude, a mile was an eternity. Like, I'm 6'1", 6'2", like 230. A mile is an eternity. I am built for speed, explosiveness. But I started doing it, and I'd run 2 miles. I just started building this up, and it'd get a little bit quicker. But it really started to stall out. And I really then started being like, I want to put in a lot of miles. I want to blow this up and run a lot of miles. So I started running. It was summertime. It was so hot that summer. And I started running after dark. And I would drive down to this state park where they had the trails, and I'd throw a headlamp on. And there was this one loop I'd run, and it was like a little over 3 miles, if I remember right. And I'd run that loop in the dark. And it really made me uncomfortable because like you're out there by yourself in the forest running this loop, and I'm like always looking behind my back. And I would run that loop and I'd just be sweating. I'd drive home, shower up. I mean, it'd be midnight. And then I'd run like a loop and maybe walk a little bit and just try to add on this. But I kept on getting stalled out. And I could not push past this like 3 to 4 mile range. No matter what I would do, I just couldn't. I just kept on hitting this dead spot. And I tried for over a month just breaking through this. And even when I would do a little hiking afterwards, I was just so gassed and dead. And I had a buddy that would run it with me sometimes as well. And we just like could not break through this. And I got so sick and tired of it. And I knew it was mental. I got to this point where I'm like, I know this is just a mental block for me. I could feel that. I had the self-awareness to know that I was reaching this limited ceiling in my thinking that was affecting my physical performance in order to break into new limits. And so I looked out at a trail I've been wanting to hike out west in the Badlands. And I told my wife, I'm like, I'm going to go run this trail. Like, let's go back, drop the kids off with my dad and my mom. And I was like, you should come with me. So she's like, okay. So we, throw in the hydration packs. We drove out before sunup and we parked and we started running this trail. So here's the thing. This is why I chose that trail, because you have to park and the trail is 5 miles to the end of this trail. Well, the car is back over here. So I had to go for like 5.15 miles to the end of this trail and turn around and come back. So I was going to put in 10.3 miles in order to come back. And I was struggling to break past 3 and 4. But I knew, I was like, I have to do something that requires me, that requires me to not give up. I cannot stop. I will be stuck 5 miles out in the middle of nowhere in the Badlands. I have to go back. And so I put myself in this situation where I had no other choice. Some would call this all in. I don't know if that's the right wording for this. I feel like it is a way to break past a limited ceiling. You're breaking through a ceiling of limitation in order to get to the next level that you're desiring. You have to put yourself in this situation where there is no other way. You have to make a choice and go. I made that choice that morning. Let's start. So we ran out and we're going. Beautiful morning. Sun comes up late, see some deer, keep running. See some bighorn sheep. Keep just plugging away. Just slow pace, just plugging away down this one track, single track trail. And before you know it, we're at the end of that trail, we're 5 miles in, and I'm like, I can't believe that. I mean, technically, I already broke past the limitation. I put myself in a different atmosphere. Are you hearing me right now? I put myself in a different atmosphere to break through a limitation. That's when it hit me, is that, oh my gosh, I just went 5 miles and I don't feel that bad. But a mile and a half ago back home on my trails, I'm dead and I'm gassed. And I'm like, but I went somewhere new. I put myself in a different atmosphere. Not just physically. Are you hearing me right now? I put myself in a different atmosphere mentally. Because what I had to choose in that moment is what actually carried me the 5 miles. It wasn't because I was on the Badlands and not the trail at home. It was because of the choice that was made prior to stepping out of that car and start running down the trail. The atmosphere lies inside. The atmosphere, the change in atmosphere was the mind shift that took place prior to even starting that run and then executing on what I said I was going to do. So we turned around, we started going. My wife ran an entire 2.5 miles back. She put in 7.5 miles of running, and she didn't even train for that. I've been running for 2-3 months. She didn't even run one time. She puts on 7.5 miles, and it hits me of just you're not very strong mentally, Jordan. Because I've been training for this. I've been wanting to improve, and I asked my wife if she wants to go with me to help, and she's like, okay. All right, I'll do that. I'll go with you. And she runs 7.5 of it and still walks the other 2.5, hikes the 2 other half back and does the same 10.3 I do. But we get that, 2.5 back on the return trip, and she's like, I cannot run anymore. And I'm like, okay, I was just gonna stop and hike it back forward. I'm like, I'm not gonna leave you out in the middle out here. And she's like, nope, you're going. And I'm like, she's like, no, go. Okay. Like, she also knew that I needed to break past this limited thinking that I had created in my mind. Are you hearing me right now? We create these scenarios in our head that we can't. Or this is my limit. I can't handle anymore. Why can't I get further in my goal? Why do I keep getting stuck? Most of the time, it's very few external factors that are causing that to happen. A majority of the time, it is an internal factor that is causing the hang-up. It's an internal belief rooted deep within you somewhere that is causing you not to go further. So we have to address those. What's causing this? I remember getting a little less than 2 miles back out, and I pulled out my last little hydration thing, and I'm like, oh, this is the last sip. My hamstrings were starting to tighten up. I knew I was really dehydrated. I'm like, I should have probably brought a couple things of water on the way in and dropped them off, because the little bit of water that I had packed, being unexperienced yet with running this type of distance, I did not know what was required. Think about that. I did not know what was required mentally yet to go past 3 to 4 miles. I did not know what was required preparationally yet to finish this. And so I knew it was going to be a grind this last just under 2 miles. I finished that last sip. I soaked it in and I enjoyed it. And then the only thought I had was finish. And that last little bit is the rough part of the trail. It's the little up and downs and rugged little badland stuff where you have to go around and up and under and not fall and trip on the rough stuff. Which, when you have really tight hamstrings and you're cramping up and you're tired, you've never done 9 miles, 9.25 miles, you've never done that, it's hard. And so I get done, I make it all the way back to the 10.3, and I'm like, I wanted to celebrate. I thought it was cool for a second. And then I'm like, I gotta go check on my wife. So I turn around and I start jogging back. And it hurts, but I'm like, and I get back and she's like to that last mile point. And I'm like, dang, Jordan, you run really slow. She walked the last 1.5 miles and she's already caught up. And so I put in a little extra bit of just like walking, jogging, hiking with her, and we're talking on the way back. And it's just like these moments of, that wasn't so bad. I had created this big scenario of why I couldn't do it before. But then you do it and you're like, that wasn't so bad. And that's the piece of all of our personal growth, is it seems so terrible when you're in the midst of it. And it is, because that's your capacity level. That's what you're able to have to handle, because life, you've only gone that far in life in order to have the capacity to withhold what life is giving you. But then life gives you some more in order for your capacity to grow. But you have to accept the more and go into that and go through the growth phase and the stretching in order to put in more stuff that you can handle. That's the capacity growth. That's personal development. But if you keep getting stuck and stopping and choosing not to go forward when the challenge is right in front of you, then you stop at frustration and don't continue on through opportunity. Frustration stops you and you get pissed and it's hard and it's painful, and I get it. But if you walk into that and through that and accept the challenge, life pours in exactly what's needed in order to stretch you so you can handle the current moment and then receive more. It has to be stretched. And life is so amazing that it keeps giving you the opportunities to stretch. It keeps giving you the opportunities to break through the ceiling of limitation. But you have to go. You have to, right here first, before you ever step on the trail, is change the atmosphere of your mind in order to take the next step. That's the first change. And so it's amazing the lesson, the deepness of a simple run. It's amazing the lesson and the deepness of eating breakfast instead of just grabbing your coffee and stepping out the door. It's amazing the lessons and deepness when you hit all 5 of your workouts for the week when you had no time, a million activities to get your kids to, and you're exhausted. What's the lesson? Where's the growth? Why do those things happen for us? Because all of the challenge is not happening to you just to make your life hard. It's happening for you in order to stretch you so you have the capacity for more. Because that's what your desire was. That's what your dream was. When you stop and actually look at, this was my goal and this was my dream and this is everything I want to accomplish in life, guess what? You have to have the capacity in order to receive all of that. So how do you get the capacity to receive all that? By journeying through life and discovering these things that grow you. So when you're at that point, you can receive all of it and steward it in a way that's meant to be. Because life is so good that that's the best way to live it. That's the journey of discovery, and that's living beyond average. So I hope this connects deeply with you today, and you're able to look at your situation that you're in now, and you can see differently that life is happening for me, and these things aren't happening to me. Life is happening for me, so I can actually receive everything that I wanted to receive. Have an amazing rest of your day. And if anything, live beyond average.